Hey everyone, this is Tracy with Color Me This. It is episode 369 today. We are going to do the 15 fruits in Small Victories, and I am queuing everything up because I want to do 15 pencil sets, of which I have pulled 14. I own 35 sets of pencils, distinct different sets of pencils. I do have also duplicates of my favorites. Someday I will go through all that with you guys. So I'm staring right now at the open storage of my coloring books that I own. And then above that is some other storage. And I'm going to do a circle. I haven't really done a formal reveal, but this behind these three cabinets is retired Stampin' Up! Supplies, vinyl, art supplies from Dollar Tree, glues, tools, all that stuff. And then this is new. This is my wall. You might have seen the wall at some point. So this wall now includes art from storage back at my mom's up in Washington State, of which she now lives here. These are all of my cubes that have been repurposed. They used to hold jewelry. The jewelry supplies and materials is all under my bed in the bedroom, which I am a don't put anything under the bed person, so it violates my rules. But now I've filled this with crafting supplies because you'll see I have a cuttle bug. Actually, I have two of them. So this is all for paper crafting. And then I have, an embossing station, a heat embossing station, and a die cutting station. I even have some pencils in hiding. This is my tower of paper that I've had forever. It is all 12 by 12, and I've had it for like forever. 10 to 15 years old. But I went through it, and a lot of it still looks really good. Because I'm in Florida, I did protect it with chipboard over the top of most of the rows. I see this one's chipboard, and that is somehow a little reversed, these two. So I will fix those. I have a step stool for going out to the bird feeder and also for accessing things up high on my cabinets. This right here is my favorite horse. Her name is Sweetie. Well, that's her pet name, barn name. She's 21 years old now, and that is back in the day. She might have been 4 years old, and that was me showing her. Now we have, if we're continuing on, when I do my coloring and I say that I am in my craft room looking out the back, I am coloring in that zero grav recliner, which I had not been sitting in the last few weeks because of my ankle, my calf that turned into the ankle that is now almost better. And everybody, this is Lucky. Lucky is a typical kitten. He sleeps an awful lot, plays really hard, and then sleeps. And right now, he's napping in his little bed. And then right out the back here, we have our lights on. Oh, you can see me in the window. We have the light on, and he gets to look at the bird feeder. And then there's a bird bath right next to it, which you can't see because you have a light reflection. So that is our trail in the dark. And we get to see, I see cows going by and turkeys and all sorts of creatures. My main pencil storage is right here. It actually was supposed to be there. Those are two homemade shelving units that was supposed to hold plants outside. And then I ended up with all these pencils. And so this was temporary storage that has since become somewhat permanent. All right, so right here, we won't even look at my messy desk area, except that this is Lucky's little resting place that is above. He kept sitting on the laptop because it's warm, so I put a shelf that I found that has a gap, but there is some warmth, very soft warmth for him that he loves. So these are 3 rows of pencil cases. The first row is I'm going vertically this time. Usually whenever I do the multiples on a page, I walk horizontally. So here is my sheet. And I want to go vertically, and I am going to do a type of coloring I don't ever do. I'm going to do simple coloring, maybe 5 colors tops. If I could get away with 3, I would. So 3 to 5 colors. I have to pull those colors. I have codes next to each of the sets of pencils, so this will be 3 days. And I bet today, because I'm doing the intro, I might have to extend this into day 2. So we'll see how far I get. So let's walk through my sets and how I store them. The Castle Arts Metallic, I ordered in a case. So it is the Castle Arts case, and inside here is a metal tin of a dozen of the Cretacolor The Brilliants, which are big fatties. I have my Marie's 168. That will be the second piece of fruit. Some of this fruit I don't even know what it's called, so I'm just going to make up colors as I go. The third fruit will be Schpirrer Farben, followed by the Kalour 180 Black Barrel 3.8 millimeter. And then finishing off for today, or maybe tomorrow, the Holbein. On day 2-ish, the top of the second row or the middle row will be Crayola, followed by Evazar. And Evazar, I don't have to have a label because it has a very unique case. So I know by the gray tweed looking case that is Evazar, which sadly I have not seen available in the US lately, so it seems like they are no longer available in the US. The next is a placeholder for what I call the Pablos, the Nina. That's not, Nina is the paper. Caran d'Ache Pablos. They live in an open case over yonder in the messy part of my desk. And the reason why that is messy is because I just finished my Valentine cards. I send Valentines to my card making pals, and I just mailed those today. So I have not put away my Valentine stuff. Next, number 4 in the middle row will be Artisto, followed by Arteza. These are 72 sets, and I love these little cases. So it used to be that I would use a bigger case and combine multiple sets. In fact, right here, you'll see that my label that says Schpirrer Farben also says Arteza because this owl case had both sets in it. I have since pulled the Arteza out. It's just easier to keep the sets separate at this point. All right, so the third row is going to start with the Barrel Prismas. These are circa 1986. I have 51 of them. I do share Inktense and Albrecht Dürer, which are both water-based pencils, do live in this case together. I have a 60 set and a 72 set, and I don't have any extra smaller cases. I could split them into the 72s. I very recently integrated these two. I don't even think I've used them in Small Victories. I've used the Inktense in Small Victories recently, but Albrecht Dürer will have its maiden voyage in Small Victories in the next couple days, followed by Brutfuner Macarons. And then I am missing a set here. I think this goes. Brutfuner Neon is number 4 right here. And then the final set is what I have left up to you guys. I do have input, and I am keeping a tally of your choices, and I will give that another 2 days. I won't close the comments for that and finalize my counts until we're closer to when I need to pick the pencils from that final set. So without further ado, I'm going to go away now. I'm going to pick some pencils, and we are going to get started. All right, so I already did an intro. This is episode 369. I haven't reviewed my intro, and I did it, I guess, freehand, showing you the pencil cases. So hopefully that footage will be good to go. And we're going to jump right into coloring. This is in Small Victories. We are on the fruit page. There are 15 fruits, and I am using 15 sets of pencils. I have the first 5 here. I'm going to go vertically because I always go horizontally. I have created some limits for myself. Today is all about coloring quickly and simply, so I am limiting to 5 pencils per set per image. In January, because of my schedule and getting a kitten, I ended up not hosting any of the coloring group classes. So we did a coloring class this week, and we had 4 colorists plus me, and we did simple coloring, and it was a lot of fun, and everybody enjoyed themselves. We did a winter image. We started it anyway. We'll finish it next time, which is in a couple weeks. And then we also made a Valentine card. So if you are interested in doing a coloring group, I am starting with the metallics, by the way. It's Castle Arts Metallics and The Brilliants. Right here is what it's called. The Brilliants, plural. And I tried to pick a couple from each set. So we are using a yellow, Vegas Yellow 29. Dripping Honey is also, it's kind of gold. Oops, here we go. Vegas Yellow, Dripping Honey, Dragon Orange 25, because we are coloring an orange. Oh, there we go. We focused. Enchanted Forest, and then the darker green is African Jade 48. For each of these pencils, I had to do a quick mock-up, and I wrote down one word that was the first word that comes to mind when I color with each of the 5, which I just spent a few minutes kind of mocking up the color scheme. I am making the first image here in orange, and the very first word that came to mind as I was using these, according to my little cheat sheet here, is mica, because I know these have mica in them and they have a specific feel that I rather enjoy because of that mica. It's a little bit of a slick feel to it, somewhat like a buttery slick feel, only not quite as slippery. It's more like all of the little beads are running together nicely as I do my scrumbling here. And it feels the same on this paper as it did on the cheap copy paper that I did my mock-ups on. So we have a little bit of a muted palette with these 5 pencils. I picked the brightest orange, the brightest yellow, the brightest gold, a bright green, and the darker green. So Dripping Honey, which is this color, is that gold. It's kind of coppery. So it does go nicely with the orange. Acts as a nice lighter tone. I am with these segments doing lines. You'll see straight lines, not scrumbling here, because I know that the segments have a longer linear look to them. This is going to go super fast, and I am totally okay with that for this exercise, because I would like to do 5 sets per day, and I already spent 9 minutes on the intro. I'm going to soften up here. This is what we did in the class. But as I was saying, so back to the class. If you're wanting to host a sort of coloring group in your community or be involved in one, a excellent complementary craft is card making. I've been a card maker for years. That's what my other channel is. So I try to, for any event, offer the opportunity to, I have lots of colorable images. I do all of the prep for the card, so that mostly what the coloring group is doing is the coloring part, and I help do a quick assembly at the end. Many of the ladies actually already are card makers to some degree, and so they're pretty independent. I provide a bow already made, or some sort of a trim already ready to go, the base already with a mat to give it a layer. I do the dry embossing to give some texture, and then I will rough up edges. I will distress, get it really ready to go so it goes together after they have finished their coloring in like less than 5 minutes. And I can go around the table and skip the people who know how to make a card and go right to the people who've not done cards before. And that makes it fun, and it has them go away with a completed project. So I wanted to say that it has been a success. We did 3 Christmas cards over the month of December. And the funny thing is, I have a stamp, a handmade stamp, and I asked if they wanted the handmade stamp on the back so that when they gift their card, they can indicate that this card was handmade. And one of the ladies says, I don't give my cards away anymore. I send a picture of my card and I keep them. And so she didn't need a handmade with love stamp on it because she was not going to give this card away, which was kind of funny. You know, each of the cards are actually something you can be proud of, and it is a little piece of art. But I like to give my cards away. I do keep pictures of them. I'm not the best at keeping track who gets what card, so sometimes I will be, you know, hey, I love the card I gave you last year, and I'm like, what card was that? Because I make so many, I don't keep good track of them, and I don't keep good notes on who gets what. If I do have card ideas or themes stretching over multiple years, I am sure there are people who got either a duplicate or close to a duplicate. I'm not big at repeats. My Valentine cards, not a one, was a direct repeat. You know, even the backgrounds were all made individually by me, and so they all have their unique touch to them. So we're basically just doing 2 shades of green, 2 shades of orange, and a yellow on this particular mica. Kind of like slick beads rolling together nicely. Under my hand, they have a great feel to them, and I do really like the color palette of the new 72 set, as well as this smaller, it's a 40, no, it's a 50. No, I think it's a 48 plus a 12. All right, so there's the orange, just nice and simple. I see where I can add some bright orange to the segment. I used the copper dripping honey. So it was nice to get back to the coloring group again. Again, of the 15 sets, the very last image, you guys are helping decide which pencil set I will use. I did not even state which 15 sets I own. So some of the recommendations are, you know, they're offering a couple of different choices, and maybe one of them I don't own, but I will count the one choice of the one that I do own, and we will get a tally going here in the next day or so. All right, so the meat of this orange, you know, is that white substance. It's kind of fluffy, and you can eat it, but I don't really eat it. It's pretty bitter. And there we go. Simple, simple, simple. Putting these away. Moving on. Very pleasant pencils to use. Fairly easy to read the barrels, though you do have the dipped ends. Oh, and then there's one that didn't make it. My second set is going to be blueberries. I am using a new clipboard that I borrowed from Dawn, who is one of my coloring friends. I met her at coloring class, and now when you have events like this that you either go to or you host yourself, you actually can find kindred spirits. So the Marie's is the second set, and the very first word that came to mind for me, I'm going to move my arrangement, and then I will focus. I noticed that these felt very, very smooth and soft to me, in a different way than the mica. The colors are the two blues. There are no names on these pencils, so they're a little bit harder to, get to know, because all you have is a number. So 43 is the dark color and 54 is the light color. They are oil-based, so I thought for oil-based they were quite soft. And soft/smooth. 103 is this brown, and the brown is actually just for the little branchy bits that technically maybe as they approach the blueberry turn green, but I'm going to leave them brown for our very simple coloring today. I will try to rank these 15 based on the very quick coloring. As I go, I'm keeping some little notes as I go. A couple of these fell, and this lighter blue, what number is this? 54. The tip is broken, but I am trying to not have to pull the tip out, so I'm going to color with it. It's wiggly. I don't know if you guys do that, but I definitely do. Have the tendency to want to use what I can, even if a tip is broken. And then the two greens are pretty tough to tell apart, but one is lighter, one is darker. We've got 67 and 66. 66 is the darker of the two. And the numbers are gold. They're a bold gold, but they still can be a little bit tricky to read for me. I would prefer a non-metallic color if I could make a choice. I would love white. White, bold. I like the bold of the number. It's very legible from that. It's the reflection of the gold that makes it challenging. These are from China. They are not. They're from Temu. Probably AliExpress sells them. Marie sells other supplies here in the US. I'm not sure why their pencils are not sold here. They make paints. They've been around, I think, since the 50s in China. And there are some pencils, like graphite pencils and sketch pads I've seen on Amazon. So they have a limited presence here. These are surprisingly soft for being oil-based. I get the oil-based from the barrel itself, which has the word oil with a little drop on it. And they have a watercolor version of pencil that has, I think it says water on it. They have a very unique case. I have a video of this. I have a free downloadable for the, if you want to use the case like I do for storage. I don't often find storage that the pencils come in that I like, unless it is an actual case with the individual slots. But this is so unique. I've been using it and I actually really like it. And so the labeling that I have come up with, I have two coffee shop downloadables. One is the swatch chart that I use, and these come actually in a very nice color family order that I decided to utilize. And then the trays, it's these hard trays, there's 7 of them, and I have the numbers in the order that they come in, which again is a nice color family order that I like. And that way you can know exactly where to put the pencils back, which for me, because I swap my pencils around so often, I want the ability to get and pull a pencil and put it back as quickly as possible. So that is a huge thing for me. Is see, so here is the tip. It's bendy. We'll see if I can get through the use of this pencil without losing the tip. All we have left here is the green. These feel, with the glossy barrel, they feel a lot like a polychromos. The core size is quite small, probably 3 millimeter. Feeling somewhat like a Kalour color barrel, only glossier. These feel glossier to me. Okay, I am looking at the two colors. The lighter one is the higher number, so that's the darker that I already did. I'm grabbing number 67. See how this is just a brighter green. So the barrel colors aren't perfect. They're very close, and I think that this barrel here is not as bright as the color of green itself. And then I'm just fading for a light because I'm only using 5. If I want a light tone of a color like the light green, I just kind of very softly fade away my middle color to be my light color. So that is a good handy trick if you don't have a lot of colors in whatever set you're using. All right, so those are the Maries. Putting them away. I'm actually going to not, because I already have that light blue one broken, I'm going to not set it back in this Lazy Susan. The next is Schpirrer Farben. These pencils overall have always surprised me at how vibrant they are. So let's just see how these work. We've got, I do not know what fruit this is, so I made it a plum color. So the color that I picked today actually is, for the light, 340 pale purple, royal purple 320. I really like the the bold font and the block font, but I wish it wasn't silver. Again, trying to be fancy and metallic makes it harder for me to read. Okay, so what was my word that I put down for these as I colored them? I wrote the word pigment because that is the thing that always surprises me about these, and they are quite pigmented. They don't feel like a light layering. They're just you get some pressure going and you're going to put your color down and the tooth is going to fill in because of how pigmented, and so they're a very quick pencil to use. They are more slender. They have a smaller core. Marie's has a small core, so these kind of feel similar to the Marie's, though the barrel of the Marie's is a little heavier. All right, so this was our dark color. Let's add the light color. It's technically more of a middle color, and again I'm using white or a very soft fade out to give us the appearance of a third lighter tone. And this is hard for me. I'm the person that loves to have 5 or more for my blends. Yeah, so if you guys know what fruit this is supposed to be depicting, let me know. All right, going on to the greens. I will set those down. Light, medium, and dark. We've got the barrels are a little bit misleading again with the color tones. 577 pickle, olive green 580, and cypress green 590. I purposely thought it would be fun to have this color of these larger leaves not be a typical light kind of leafy green, so I went more with the olive tones just for something different. I did not sharpen this. Darkest green. The middle green being olive. Don't forget that with leaves, kind of like flowers, you have veins that you can follow. So I'm okay if it gets a little bit linear. And the light green pickle, 577. So the pickle I will use as a burnish, and I will leave the edges of the leaves very faint to white. And then we'll be done with this one. I am pretty late getting this done today. We live in a community that is a volunteer-based organization. It's a formal HOA. It has individual sub-HOAs and then an overarching one that is the management HOA. I think it's pretty common in Florida to have like the HOA that takes care of the amenities and we have swimming pools, golf course, restaurant, some other businesses that are actually owned by the businesses, but there's the entity that handles like the leasing, and they have staff, and we do our own lawn care is part of the amenities, so that is part of that overarching organization. So this today was the annual homeowners meeting with the volunteer board of directors and chairperson, re-election results, talked about our assessments for this 2025 coming along, so the budget, and that is the finished Schpirrer Farben that I said my main word was pigmented. We're moving on. Number 4 is going to be the Kalour. This is the black barrel. It's the 3.8 millimeter core, so they're pretty beefy feeling. They have a matte finish, and we've got 2 yellows because our next image is, I'm going to move my camera down this way rather than my clipboard up. All right, so those look like lemons to me, so that's what we're coloring. All right, so I'm getting my lights to darks in order. Hour 5. We're just doing leaves and lemons. All right, so the light yellow is Canary Yellow number 4. These are huge, easy to read. They're silver, but they're easy to read, and I love the dropout numbers. Canary Yellow 4, Olive Yellow 150, Spring Green 56, Grass Green 144, and Forest Green 11. The only complaint I've heard from other people, and I've noticed it myself, is that the leads, or the cores being more beefy, they're just not as easy to get into these very small images. I like the 3.3 millimeter core Kalours really well for these images. So the word that I wrote down for these, I wrote down waxy. I believe these are a wax-based, and I actually can feel it compared to the oil-based pencils. So they feel waxy and the word would be slick if I had to do a second word to go along with the word waxy. Segments again are lined, but I'm not really gonna be able to show that. The artist here already put some lines indicating the segments. We're going to leave that middle area white and just do this outline yellow. Before I move on to the green, I will be doing a little shadow. That's what this color is, the olive yellow. This is a lovely shadow color. I really, really like it. It also is a really nice color to use if you're working on golds. It can be one of the color tones for the gold metallic. I also found these, ironically, not as pigmented as the previous pencils used today. But they are still a good pencil nonetheless. So if you like to do small images, I actually recommend getting the color barrel. They are a little bit cheaper. These are like $35 or so. And the 180 full color barrel with the 3.3 millimeter core is like $29, I think. And this is eBay, listen to me, Amazon. All right, so we are gonna move on to the green. See, I like that shadowing. Add a little bit here. A little bit here. Very nice. Okay, greens. The darkest green. Forest green number 11. See, I'm not doing the olive green here. I tried to change things up. Now we're going back to a typical bright green, leafy green. So that was the dark green. My knuckle keeps getting in the way. This should be brown. Oh, I could use that gold. What have I got for an eraser nearby? Because I don't like the way that stem looks, because that absolutely is not right. Here's what I love about pencils. I can erase. I can grab that olive. And I love that way better. Yep. And here's the light green. All right. The last set that I am going to use for today, and we're right at 40 minutes now, so we should be able to finish this up. This is more of a muted tone set. I don't know why I picked it. I just did. I do not know how to interpret this fruit, but I'm going to call it a pear. And we've got leafy greens, and we've got the pear greens. The pear green are these two. Let's see if I can do this. Again, Holbein. So I don't own a full set of these. I own a subset, about 90 of them. Light red, OP54, and then apple green, 251. And then this is technically for the middle of the flowers. I looked up what the flowers look like for a pear. They're basically white with the stamen in the middle, mostly kind of light green with a little bit of orange, a hint of orange. This is Chartreuse Green 240. And then the two leafy greens are going to be Leaf Green 291 and Cactus Green 292. I love the size of the font. I just wish it wasn't gold. And my wording when I used these, now this was on the copy paper, so I'm going to hold on that word until I use them on this paper and see if they feel the same. So this is the apple green. Yep, I'm going to kind of stick with that word. So the interesting word for me with these on this and the copy paper is sort of sticky. Which is interesting. Almost silky, but not quite, because they're a little bit sticky with the tooth. Which I thought was very interesting. I wasn't expecting that. I have not had a lot of the Holbeins, so my projects were somewhat limited. So I'm being very soft here because I want this hint of red that you tend to get on the outer part of the pear. Sometimes there'll be a little bit of red on the top, and then I am going to let the stems be red. This is almost a red-brown. It is actually called light red. And then I can take one of the leaf greens and go ahead and use that for a little shadow. See how they don't show up really smooth? I am not impressed with them, which is interesting. With these seeds showing, I think this is supposed to be a sideways slice. of the pear. I said that the chartreuse green, this very light green, was supposed to be if this is a pear, the flowers are not correct, but for our purposes they'll be correct enough. I want the flowers to be white with this very soft light green, and then I'm going to take the light red and just do a little hint of it. Yeah, officially my least favorite, which is crazy. Normally I love Holbeins, but this is why, you know, when you color with different pencils, it changes your outlook on when you compare them one to the next by using them on the same page. I am cheating and using the leaf greens as shadows for the pears. I'm using the little dots as the notation of the skin, and I'm making that darker. Yep, these just don't have the best feel compared to some of the others used. So that is it. I have now colored all of them. I'm going to give today the winner for today, mostly based on feel, is the Maries. I really, really liked how they felt. The second best would be the Schpirrer Farben. Crazy. So that's it for today. Tomorrow we will continue on to do row 2. And let me know your thoughts. Leave any comments that you might have. And also go to my community tab, to the post where I'm asking what set you would like me to use that I haven't already got on this page for the eggplant. And do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, consider subscribing, and I will see you all tomorrow.